Hey girl, my name is Anel. Welcome to the Brave and Her podcast, where we inspire, empower, and motivate by sharing our stories of bravery. I strongly believe that by sharing our stories, we open ourselves to healing, but also serve to give hope and inspiration to those who are dealing with a tough situation. We will talk about all topics under the sun. Now let's hear your stories of bravery. Hello. Thank you for being here today. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Lydia Amrandi. She's partnered with a vegan hair and skin product company, and where she helps women start their own business. She is also working on her psychology degree, and she also just launched an amazing podcast called The Mindset Enthusiast. Hi, Lydia. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm excited too.
We were in the same podcast class with Keisha. And, since day one, I was just, admiring you because you're so young. You're 19 and going for your dreams. I think that's so great.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, we met in this podcasting class, and I remember when you were talking about your project for your own podcast, where I felt inspired because you wanted to highlight bravery stories of other women, and even just the name I felt was such a good name too. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm really excited that you are here. So do you want to talk to us about your podcast?
Yeah, sure. So as Anel said, my podcast is called the Mindset Enthusiast Podcast. It's actually a podcast where I talk about mindset, personal development, and positive psychology. Since I'm starting my bachelor's degree in psychology in a couple of weeks, I wanted to implement certain things that I learned in school, but I wanted to make it available and kind of understandable for someone who's not in psychology. And I know that, like Anel said again, I'm only 19 years old, and I feel like a lot of people who have podcasts have done incredible things. They've read books. Well, they've written books. They've started a company. I don't know. I feel like they're always 10,000 steps ahead of us. And I wanted to be relatable to young people who had dreams on their hearts but were afraid to start them, because that's how I was and that's how I still am. It's just the difference between me and someone who didn't decide to start whatever they wanted to start is that I decided to do it scared. So I want to inspire as many people as I can to do the same, because in a world with so many opportunities, it would be so bad to waste these opportunities and not go for whatever you want to go for. So yeah, that's basically why I started my podcast. I love listening to podcasts, so I was like, why not have one of my own? And yeah, basically share whatever I can find is inspiring to other young people.
That's great. So going back to your age, we were talking about it before going, before recording this. So you're 19, and I'm just amazed that at 19 you're like, I want to inspire other people. When I was 19, I didn't think about that. Back then podcasts didn't exist, but I didn't have that mentality that you did. I was, just focused in school and work, and that was it. But I think that's great that, you're at 19, you're thinking about inspiring others, because, teenagers or even in your 20s, you're still trying to figure out who you are. And there's so much negativity out there. So just having that positive attitude and that positive, just a positive message, and, that you can do whatever you put your mindset to. I think that's great. I think that's really awesome that you're doing this for your generation.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I feel like, again, I've been inspired by so many people, but these people were often older or like a lot of steps ahead of us or me. So I just love like still being inspired by people my age, but also being able to help, if it even if it's just one person. Like, I'm happy when I receive one message of someone who said I helped them with whatever they were going through. So yeah, I think we can always help each other.
Yeah, that's great. So what is the message for your podcast? What message are you trying to put out there?
Okay, so the main message I'm trying to put out there is that with the right mindset, you're going to be able to achieve your wildest dreams. As corny as that sounds, having a good mindset is so crucial if you want to achieve big things, because of course there are going to be things that come in your way. There are going to be roadblocks, whatever. Like, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's always like kind of a roller coaster. So if you can get through the bad times, that's how you're going to get to your goals and get even further than your goals. And whatever your goal is, like, I'm not different than any other young people. I have goals, I have dreams like any other young people,
Yeah.
any other young person, but I just decided to work on my mindset, and that's basically my main message, because I feel like my generation is very much so focused on just being average or being normal and not standing out from other people because they are afraid of being criticized. And I was like that too for a long time, but let me tell you, it's not a good place to be in, and it's not. You can't have a fulfilling life if you're not willing to dream and be a kid for sometimes. I'm always dreaming, and I'm always like, oh my god, I'm such a kid. But it's so good to still be able to think that this thing is possible for me, or this I could achieve if I worked really hard for it. So
yeah, I think that's a great mindset to have. One thing that I do like about you is that, or that impressed me about, your message, is that you're saying, I was scared that to start this podcast. You're scared, but you did it anyway. And your mindset is, right now I might not be like perfect and doing great, but I'm dedicated to improve it and to improving, and just enjoying the process. I think that's great. And so what would you tell the women that it's listening to this podcast, especially the young girl that is 19, 18, maybe in her 20s, that struggling with that, like she has this something, passion in her heart to do something, but is so scared to do it? What would you tell that girl?
okay, well, first of all, I think I would hug her and tell her that I understand her 1000%, because I'm not any different from her. Like, I'm scared always to start new things, but something that she needs to realize is that she's going to be scared no matter when she starts it, because she will always find new things to be ready, quote unquote, ready for. And she's just never going to start it. So think about every big thing that has been accomplished, every celebrity that you know. Now you're seeing them at their best when they've had years of experience, and you think they were born like that and they started like that. But the truth is that they didn't. They started at rock bottom, maybe like a singer, for instance. They didn't even know how to sing properly. They took classes, they worked really hard, they practiced super hard consistently, and they got super good. Well, it's the same thing with you. You just got to push yourself out there, start, and even if you start and you suck, which is like everyone's story, no one starts being great, okay?
Right.
Even if you suck at the beginning, tell yourself that you're better than the person who didn't even start. And
That's true.
that's the biggest thing that has kind of encouraged me to step out of that fear. Is I'm better, because I don't like to think like that, but like my situation, or the fact that I decided to act that way, is better than not taking any action at all. So it's a really hard thing to do for any perfectionist out there, which I am. If you know me, I'm a big perfectionist. I like things to be done very well, but I learned to not be so focused on getting it right the first time around. And it's helped me tremendously. So I would really encourage any young women who's listening to this to just start whatever you're trying to do. And you're going to have people who are going to help you. You're going to have so much help, and you're going to be able to improve by yourself also. So
Yeah, like what you said, that when you start, obviously you're not going to be perfect, but it's better to start than not start at all. Yeah, I think that's really great.
yeah. And this started when I was like 5 years old, and I did figure skating at the time. And it's going to be a quick story, but my dad, he used to come and see me every single time. And I started figure skating, so I wasn't good. I wasn't even able to skate properly. And I looked at the girl who was able to do a double axel, and I was like, Dad, I'm not good, but this girl is good. And he was like, Lydia, it doesn't work like that. This girl started 10 years ago. You started yesterday. So how do you expect to be good if you don't practice? And I think that stuck with me ever since. So every time I think about like, oh, I'm not going to be good the first time around, well, I think about that exact situation, because it impacted me so much. And eventually, like, I didn't get to do the double axel because I stopped before, but eventually I got way better at figure skating. I did competitions and all of that. So that's just like a little example in my life that really proved me that with effort and practice, you can get so much better than when you started.
I think that's a great point, because one, you're scared to start, right? And then once you start and you don't see, quote unquote success, or you're not doing it quote unquote perfect, then most people give up. But the key is to start and not give up, right? Keep trying not until you're happy with it, because I feel like we're never really going to be 100% happy with the results, but because we want more and more, right? So but I think the key is to never give up, right? To just keep going.
Yeah, we're often really hard on ourselves, and we're like, it's not good enough yet. It's not good enough. But just like you said, Anna, like, just keep going and you're going to improve so much. And then you're going to look back and even laugh at yourself for being scared of that little thing that you started. So not that little thing, but you know what I mean? Like, it's going to look so little once you, like, 10 years from now, it's not even going to be in your mind that you were scared to start it at first. So you're not even going to remember it.
Right. So do you have any last minute advice for the girl that's listening and, needs a little bit of more of encouragement?
Yeah, so I love what we covered up to now, but I guess the very last thing that I would say is, girl, think about 50 years ago when there weren't that many opportunities out there for women, and think about now the opportunities that you have access to in terms of whatever you want to do. I know we're still in a male dominated society, and industries are also like pretty male dominated, but it's getting better and better. And just think about like the fact that you have more opportunities than your grandmother or like your ancestor women, and don't stop yourself from success, because you are worth it, and you are worth investing time and effort in making your dreams become a reality. As corny as that sounds, it's going to feel so good once you've decided to actually do it, and once you're going to start to see the results from your own actions and your own efforts towards yourself. It's also going to help your self-confidence times 1,000. So yeah, don't be afraid and just do it scared. It's better than not starting at all. I'm sure you're gonna be fine, and you're gonna laugh at yourself in like 5 years because you were scared to start that thing. So I really like being on your podcast, Anel.
Thank
and you're welcome.
Thank you so much for being here, and I wish the best of luck in your podcast. And if for you girl that are listening and you haven't checked out her podcast, please go ahead and check it out. I'll leave her information in the message box. And thank you for listening. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you. If you like this podcast, please share on social media and tag me on Instagram @TheBraveandHer. I would love to hear your stories of bravery.